Good evening. Welcome to this Community Matters and Town Assets Committee meeting. Emma sent her apologies to this meeting, so I'd like to note those and formally accept them. But I want to check.
We have to all vote on it.
Yes, I appreciate that. I just want to check if there's any others. No. So, we'd like to propose?
Yeah.
So, all those in favour of accepting Emma's apologies? Thank you. Okay. I haven't mentioned fire safety and building evacuation procedure. I wish I could admit that I'm not an expert on the fire safety procedure, other than I think there's a door there, and presumably we meet in the car park opposite. I worked that out right then. Okay. If there's if councillors have any interest, which might be perceived as a conflict of interest, if you could declare it now. Or if something comes up in the meeting, or you think you might have a conflict, just raise it at that appropriate moment. Well, I wouldn't want to hold people to that. Okay. So in terms of an update, the main thing I wanted to mention was the ongoing devolution journey, not in detail, but in terms of headlines. So on the 11th of February, there was the North Somerset Council Cabinet meeting. I gave a 3-minute input, which was difficult to say what I would like to have said in 3 minutes. Hello.
Yeah.
And I mentioned in that brief input that North Somerset Council had approached the parishes to see whether they would be willing to take on various assets and services. This primarily being driven by the need for North Somerset to make cost savings over recent years and ongoing, and with a view to preventing, I think you're right to say, a decline in some of these assets and services by providing a way forward. And I would think also it's fair to say politically some commitment to devolve things to local communities to own and manage local assets. I did point out that to enable devolution, Portishead had set aside an amount in excess of 1,300,000, which in fact is £1,304,462, which includes, although I didn't mention it there, 250,000 preliminary allocation in 25/6 to prepare us. And that over 2 years, this amounts to a £149 precept increase in terms of those in residents in Band D properties. The point being, that a lot's already being asked of residents, albeit we consulted with them, and the majority, sizable majority, has supported of us nevertheless going down this road. The other thing I did add is that the town is also taking due diligence work and legal title work before we move ahead with these things. So there is a bit of a amber flag there. The council considered a report which was presented by Mike Bell, leader of the council. The report was approved, which meant they gave agreement for devolution to be progressed with Portishead Town Council. I also did say, and Mike noted it, that Paul said Town Council would be meeting on the 11th of March to consider the offer. And at this time, led by Paul, there's a report that's going to come to the full council to update on the latest state of negotiations and where we're at in terms of agreeing the devolution package with or without conditions. So things are moving on behind the scenes with solicitors, with North Somerset Council. And if we weren't careful, we'd have to have a daily update, I think, as to where things are at. I don't know if there's anything more, Paul, you'd want to add there. Just to say, because we're going to have a full discussion on the 11th of March, and there's also an ongoing devolution implementation group, trying to avoid like a repetition of the same discussion in every meeting. But we will have a full discussion at the full council meeting with a report, comprehensive report for the consideration of councillors. So that's my summary, unless, Paul, you think there's anything else to add at this point? That's okay. Okay, thank you. David wanted to flag something totally different by way of information. So over to you, David. I'm taking this under the chair's update report.
Thanks, Mike. It was just to raise councillors' awareness of the Great Britain Tidy Great British Spring Clean that is due to occur between the 13th to the 29th of March. I'm aware that the local group Turn the Tide are signing up for it. It's possible for town and district councils to sign up as well. It may be useful in terms of spreading news about the initiative. So it was just to raise awareness of the campaign, the Great British Spring Clean, and whether we as a council wanted to sign up to it.
Doing.
So the council will receive an email granting access to their Kickstart digital resources so we can help raise awareness of it amongst our residents. I think it facilitates, I think they send litter collection bags to councillors if residents would want to use them. I think that's about it. You could register for the Great British Spring Clean Awards if you wanted. I mean, I've thrown this at you at the last minute, having just found out about it myself a couple of days ago, so it's not formally on the agenda. But given that the date is the 13th to 29th of March, which is in a couple of weeks' time, I guess it's either now or never to think about it.
I don't have a particular view myself at this moment in time. I wondered if anybody else would like to. I mean, obviously these things are good ideas, but I'm still not quite clear in my own mind what that would put on the council and whether we'd get any real value out of it.
I think probably the main value is just raising awareness of it if our residents want to take part.
So yeah, I think that Dave's right. I think I think they're coming to the council to make awareness. My big concerns is volunteering. The town in general is struggling with volunteers. So we have an older generation of volunteers that are slowly getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's hard to get the younger generation involved, and it's really trying to find a way of how to bring them into that format of volunteering. And I think in general across the UK, it's the biggest thing that towns will struggle with is to get the younger people to volunteer. And as the demand for more volunteers comes on councils, I think that's a struggle.
Janice?
I think it's a brilliant idea. I would love to take part, but I probably can't physically. However, I do have one concern, I suspect that the troublemakers in the town would say that the council should be cleaning up, and we're charging them so much more money, and I can see that it could cause a bit of a furore on Facebook with the usual suspects, and they'd say they ask us for more money, but yet they ask us to clean up the streets. And you and I, all of us, know that that's not what this is about. However, maybe we should step down from this one and let Turn the Tide do their normal stuff at the moment until people stop getting angry about the increase in council tax, which they've been told about today and yesterday. And I just feel that maybe not expose ourselves too much at the moment, because there's some real nastiness online about things like that, and I just don't think we need it, and I'm really disappointed.
Mike.
Thank you. I thought I'd just flag up an incident which you're probably all aware of, and that's all the fly-tipped clothing behind the clothes banks down in the Aldi car park. Oh yeah, there's a big pile of them. One of the bins has been removed. I think it's the Samaritans. They're now kind of packing it in, and they've taken theirs away. And I just wanted to get the opinion of you all as to whether you feel that we could probably pick it up. In other words, we know it's Aldi's responsibility. North Somerset probably won't do it. Should we go and pick it up? Can we get Pete to go and pick it up in the Glendale and dispose of it? Because unless we go in a private vehicle, I don't think Steve's little van will be accepted up in the recycling centre. It's mostly old clothing, as you can appreciate, because there are clothing bins down there. So I just thought I'd flag it up. I think Nicky's already on the case, but how do you all feel in respect to us acknowledging and doing that?
Great idea. I'm all in favour of it. What do we do with it once we pick it up?
Go to the tip and get landfilled.
Okay. There's not a recycling thing we can do.
Clothing, I presume there is probably up there, but I mean, it's saturated, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so. Okay.
I imagine.
Clothing that's been left out has no value. No one will take
No,
that. So
no, I think that's probably why the bin's been removed by the Samaritans.
Yeah.
So I take it that you're all probably in favour of that happening.
Okay, thank you. Paul?
Personally, I think it's a good idea. I think we should just publicise it and encourage people to use it. And I'm not bothered in the slightest by whatever anyone says on social media. Sorry, and we just need to do what we do, which is to encourage volunteers and help the town. That's what we're here for. So, okay. So can we perhaps just get Amy to, if you ask Amy to publicise it, I'm sure she will. So, yeah.
Okay, Shane. I'm happy to get a group together and represent the town council, if you're okay with it, to get a group together and do alternate days with Turn Tide and cover that period.
I think that's a great idea. I think, as a council, the two things we could do are, well, three things: support Turn the Tide, publicise it, and send a party out to do some collecting in town. That's great.
I get some children involved as well.
There's an opportunity for schools to get, going back to your point, Bob, there's an opportunity for schools to sign up as well.
Yeah, it's great to get that's what I say, you probably get the young ones to do it. But then there's legal issues as well that comes along with that. And that's, I think, one of the problems is too much red tape and caring and safety that's involved before you can actually do it.
Jenny?
Yeah, because Bob, last year, I think you organised a group of people to work on the Portbury 100, is that right? Because I've just noticed the Portbury 100 is just littered with stuff again. And I remember you doing it with quite a dangerous thing to do.
Okay.
So I just quickly explained the Portbury 100, we can't start till end of March, obviously, because of the light. So we go at first light on a Sunday and we have literally a 2-hour window. So the earliest we can do it is late March. And as you say, it's a mess at the moment. So you can imagine how much we're going to pick up on the first couple of runs.
Okay, order. So, Stephen, do you think you've got actions from that make sense, or do you want to clarify any of that?
So I've got obviously raising awareness, liaising with Turning the Tide, and my to take an action to explore what might be possible in terms of putting a group together. If I've captured all that.
Okay, thank you. Minutes of the previous meeting of 28th of Jan. Seems a long time ago. Are there any points of accuracy or matters arising that are not on the agenda? That they were circulated. So I can't. No, they all went out together.
Yeah, exactly.
There was another email before that one.
No, they were all in one email.
Yep. Well, there was more than one email. There's one that's got them all on this, which is.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I certainly received an email with all the documents on, so there is one with them all on. If you'd like to, you've got a set of papers there, I think, spare.
Yeah, one was set. Or there isn't there.
Just abstain from it if you haven't read the papers.
Okay. Can I take a resolution in favour?
Yeah.
Mary-Ann, Martin, all those in favour? Thank you. I don't think we have, but let me just check. We got any public participation? Unawares of them? No. Okay. And similarly goes from reports from external organisations, clubs and community groups. Okay. There is a signing and referrals officer report in the usual format. It's circulated essentially to receive a note, which we can do unless anybody has anything specifically they want to raise from it. Okay, if somebody could recommend that we receive and note the report.
I think we're just noting it, so it's fine.
Don't we have to actually, it says here we have to,
No one, Steve? I don't think we do.
well, it says it here, that's why I'm just following it.
Oh, dear, okay, right, we'll vote on.
It is to know.
I know.
Okay, we'll vote on
Okay.
it. Right.
Okay. Because we have then similar concept in relation to the CCTV reports, which again is for information. And I mean, when we say it's for information, evidently, if somebody has something particular they want to draw out of any of these reports, they can do so. So that's why again.
Could I suggest in future meetings we stick them right at the end of the agenda and just note them, and then if anyone wants to.
Yeah.
If there's an exception on one of the reports, it's fine, but basically they're all at the
I
moment.
know, the
pretty
standard report.
business as usual, isn't it?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Okay, can we formally for the record then note CCTV report? Yeah, okay, thank you. Community grant applications, we don't have any on this occasion. Moving on, we have the Economic Development Fund, and this is a fund which is administered by North Somerset Council. However, there is a group which considers the applications across North Somerset Council, Portishead Town Council, and indeed Portishead together as well. So this has met and been considering numerous applications, I think it's fair to say, which is a good sign. And you'll see that there was sent out a list of the applications that were agreed. They were either agreed in part or fully. And for those that are interested, there's a project summary on the record of that document. So I think for the record, I ought to just, do you think I need to read through them? Probably do, don't I think.
Yeah, I think you should, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the first one, Portis Bar Limited, part funded in the tune of 4,000. We Love Bikes Limited, fully funded 9,466. Soul Solution Limited, part funded 6,000. Tonic Hair and Beauty House Limited, part funded 5,000. Bertie's Pet Store Limited, part funded 6,000. Boscut Barbers Limited, fully funded 2,880.64. Bristol Tax Savers Limited, part funded 2,000. Stoke Food Limited, part funded 2,000. Muse, fully funded 900. Together Portishead, part funded 2,500. So that means the total awarded through the last committee meeting was £40,746.69. So that's brought here for information, and evidently North Somerset Council and Portishead Town Council are working together on the communications to go out in relation to these, because obviously it's really important to this town. So that should be coming out imminently. They're in the process of liaison.
May I?
Yeah, Roger.
Sorry, I'm going to still. Right, I just thought it would bear saying for the record that this money comes through a Section 106 agreement with North Somerset because of the loss of business land when Paper Mill Gardens was built, I believe, and it's to be used in the Portishead and Portbury area to help to sustain businesses and generate jobs. And I think we've been doing a sterling job of going through what are very complex applications in some cases, and trying to ensure that we get a good bang for our buck on this. And as you've heard, I think there's a lot of local businesses who are getting support from this, and often when it comes to grants, they're sort of done nationally and local businesses miss out on a lot of things like that. So a lot of local and very small businesses as well have been doing well from this, and I think it will help to enhance the business across Portishead and the high street, because there's a number of high street names in there who will be getting improvements as well. But it's not Portishead Town Council money, it's not taxpayers' money. This is from a developer for businesses in the area.
And we have recorded that as well, but
Yeah.
you've reinforced it. Yeah. Mike.
I think just to add to that, this was the third phase of grant applications, and the original 150 odd thousand is now whittled down to about, I think, 16,000 left. So that we'll go into a fourth phase, and this is partly because of the publicity given to all the high street businesses, which Amy and Nikki tramped through the high street delivering leaflets and such like, maybe others too. But yeah, it's nearly gone.
Yeah, the total pot states it was £152,942.
Yeah, obviously I noticed on the email that was sent out to us, it's got a project summary. I'm just wondering if that project summary could be highlighted to the public too. Obviously, it's a benefit to the town and to North Somerset Council about where that money and what it's doing. And I don't know, it would be nice to have a follow up maybe in 6 months' time to say how it's worked.
Well, I think just in response to that, I mean, there is a general communications that's going out. I don't know, it will detail individual applications, but there is also a monitoring system in place through North Somerset Council, So there are various milestones that each of the successful applicants needs to fulfill. I mean, ultimately, we could call money back. Obviously, we hope that would not happen. But that will give an opportunity to feature potentially some of those businesses, for example, at this meeting, or I suppose by agreement in other forms of publicity. But I think we've got to be a bit careful about the sort of sensitivity around these applications. Although what we've got here, of course, has gone out with the summary has gone out with the paperwork.
Yes, yeah. We discussed this before and we agreed that we wouldn't do, we'd just do the general communication now. But once it's all the money's gone, and after a month or so, that's the time to go out because it's a bit sensitive at the moment. So, because of obviously who's still applying and who hasn't got one and all that kind of thing. So.
I mean, again, for the record, it's very much as the others. It's as the recommendation is to note the decisions from the February tranche 3 of the funding scheme. So, if everybody prepared to acknowledge and approve that, thank you. The next item. Catchy little title: installation of a dog waste bin at Cappenor Close. I think I'm going to say I've had a discussion with Paul about this one, so I think it would be useful, Paul, if you talk about the dog.
Yeah, I think this was first raised about 9 months or so, but it went into a black hole for whatever reason. So I got an escalation from residents down there. I happen to know a couple down there. So I went down there a few weeks ago. It's pretty horrible down there. There's like, I don't know, there was the guy, well, there's basically a path that comes off the, from Westbourne Bigwood from the field down into Cappenor Close. But there was about, so one of the residents just had their hedge taken out. So they found about 25 bags of dog poo hidden, as well as the general half a dozen that are normal there and the seagulls flying around. So it's pretty horrible. So yeah, I did talk to them. And so obviously we kind of put a bit of a moratorium on new bins because we're taking over stuff from North Somerset, but I just thought it was worth bringing it forward because it was a particularly bad situation. And also I thought it was useful, so I asked Lucy just to get the costs because obviously if we are going to put new bins in, it'd be useful to know how much it's going to cost. So the costs are there, and you can see it's made up of, depends how big a bin you need, but it's between 100 or 250 pounds. The post is about 90 pounds. Installation is 120 pounds, and it costs 6 pounds every time you have the bin emptied. So I thought it's quite useful just to have that. Anyway, I just said to her, just put the information. I thought it'd be useful just to get people's consensus on, do you want to go ahead with it now? And if so, are there any others we want to go ahead with now, or do we still want to wait until the big handover from North Somerset? So perhaps we could have a discussion. Bob,
yeah, being a person that gets out quite a bit, and bins are the things that I look at. I'd rather us wait. I've seen some good examples of the use of bins in towns, and I think the ones that we use are too small. I think we need to look at something a lot more user friendly for the public, a lot more easier for Glendale or whatever company we decide to clear the rubbish to use. So at the moment, I'd rather just stick with a bin that we usually get, and then leave it till the devolution to decide how we move on from there.
Okay, so what you're saying you want to go ahead with this one, but we would like to look at, but the team have looked at all of the options, so they're quite familiar with them. So perhaps you want to have a word with the team. If you've got some particular ideas, perhaps you should go and speak to Lucy, so that when we do the big handover, that they know what ideas you've got. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So can I just clarify? But are you saying to do this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should do this one. But
loads of
as for looking at alternative bins, because I think the bins that we use in the town for need yeah, we need to look at better ones, I think.
Janet?
As a frequent user of dog bins, not for my personal self.
We don't want to go any further. We don't explore that anything.
I am aware that there is a the end of the field there, and a lot of people walk up there. However, dog bins, the size that we have generally are usually fine for dog bins. But I understand what Bob is saying about different sorts of bins. We've got to do some thought, have some thought about it. But I believe the dog bins are fine, personally. And I would say I'm very surprised that there wasn't a dog bin there already, considering the fact that it's a place where people walk on a daily basis.
David? You don't have to kneel at my feet.
So you can hear me. It's just to say, it sounds like a really good idea to put a dog bin in this area. I mean, they do get vandalised. My only concern is we have been, Marilyn and I petitioned by Turn the Tide to have litter bins placed up the alleyway between Rippleside and Slade Road for, gosh, about 6-9 months ago, and we said to the team that we'd be reviewing the bins as part of the wider review of bins. So I think in terms of fairness, if we do this, we ought to do the one that we've been asked to do.
It's just the one, is it? Yeah. So why don't we just get both of these done? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Roger?
And it would be remiss of me at this stage not to mention that that Councillor Burden, I think, has been requesting a bin for some time up on Lower Down Road area. And here is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once you open the can of worms, suddenly
Well, I hope there's no worms there, but
everyone got a bin that they want putting in. So, and what we don't want to do as a council is to put bins in, then do a review of bins and find out that they weren't needed there. So if they're definitely needed there, then great. But if you're going to start opening that can of worms, there may be a lot more people saying, I need a bin near me.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think there is one at the bottom of Lower Down Road, just at the top of
There definitely
Newlands.
is.
There is one there.
It may not be the bottom.
Has that covered your point? Fine.
Shall we just ask Lucy to get to quote for 2 bins, because this is not a decision making, and then just bring it back to community matters? Yeah.
I
And then-
thought she.
Yeah. Yeah. We should.
Sorry, are you saying for her to
Well, I just asked her to give us the pricing. So
Can we
could-
not make a decision today?
Well, we could. Yeah, we could.
Be
just-
bold. I mean,
We could do that. All right.
Could we not make, say, a certain amount to cover both, but that any subsequent ones will have to await a full audit?
Yeah, we could.
Because we're going to end up with setting up precedent.
Okay. Well, all right. I could propose a motion that we authorise Lucy to up to £1,000 to get 2 bins. One in Captain Close, and where's the other one?
Well, they're different bins.
Oh, you're different types. Yeah, yeah.
One's a litter bin, one's a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but not to make it too complicated, we'll just authorise her up to the value of £1,000 to put the correct bins at Captain Close and at. Yeah. Right, okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The office for now, right?
And are we saying that other requests should await a full audit?
Yeah, other question. Right. Great. Yeah. Shall I say?
Say I appreciated your use of the word motion there.
Very good.
I'm not sure I do.
Shall we repeat that?
No, we've got it. We've got it, haven't you, Steve? You've got that?
Could you just repeat the second location, because that wasn't on the microphone?
Okay, so it's for Lucy to delegated authority to install 2 bins up to the value of £1,000. One is in Captain Close, and the other one is in the alleyway between above. It goes from Slade Road Field up to Rippleside. Yeah. Okay.
And further requests.
Further requests will be dealt with once we've devolved this service from North Somerset.
Taking a full audit. Yeah.
Okay. Is that all right?
I think so.
Should we vote on that?
Yep. In favour? Carried.
We made a decision like that.
Decision I couldn't bear coming back on it. So the item 13 is communications. So I guess it's anything we might wish to flag from this meeting to go towards communications.
Just the grants really, so only the general comps, so it might.
So just to say, obviously there is an ongoing piece of work between North Somerset Council and Portishead Town Council regarding comms in relation to the Economic Fund. So that is noted. Mike, you had a suggestion, I think. No?
I tried to find tonight's agenda online.
You're in the my website.
Yeah, I want it there. That's the one on the screen.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Anyway, I think we've been able to get through the meeting, but if there is any minor hiccups, I'm sure Steve will have a look at it.
The other comms was the Great British Clean.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Roger?
CCTV, can we just put out maybe not the whole report, just a summary in our comms of the CCTV, how many incidents have been dealt with, because people don't always see the value of CCTV, and the more we publicise the value of CCTV, hopefully the more they'll realise that it does do good in the town.
Okay. Bob?
I don't know if I'm going to step on anyone's toes on this one. Yeah, can we have an update on
Right, is this comms? Talking about comms.
comms? Oh no, nothing on comms.
If it's something urgent, we'll come back to that.
I was going to have a whisper in
Sorry,
Paul's ear.
comms at the moment. Any other items for comms?
No. Right, just do the date in the last meeting and we can.
Okay. Is this relevant to this meeting, Bob, or you will discuss it with Paul after the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll discuss it after the meeting with Paul. So the date of the next meeting is 25th of March, 7:30. And therefore I now call the meeting closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chad.